Hi guys, so how to buy real estate in Moldova without bringing the down payment with the cash? So there are many alternatives like vendor finance. We'll discuss together today about how we can acquire properties in Moldova through so-called vendor finance. So let's say that this process closely resembles a traditional bank loan, typically spanning a term of 25 or 30 years, with repayments covering both principal and interest. So in this case, the buyer has the flexibility to settle the financing at any point through pre-financing of property sale in time. And the interest rate applied for this kind of transaction commonly is 2% per annum above the prevailing bank rate, which means, let's say that the bank rate is 3%, then plus 2 will be 5% in total. So the buyers in this case gains the immediate occupancy following the contract agreement, allowing the property to accumulate more equity than it was at the time of buying. I will explain this in a simple example how this works. Let's say you have a property which costs, so you have a building which, let's say, it costs 1 million euro. So the owner of this building, he wants to sell it. Sometimes there are desperate sellers which are looking for buyers to sell immediately, and they need to get rid of this property. So you are a potential buyer. So you don't have enough money to get this building. So what you'll do? What are your options? So in this regard, you go to the seller. So here's the seller, and say, hey, look, I don't have money. I don't have the exact amount of money which you want to get for this property, but I may offer you that you become the vendor of your property, meaning that you finance this 1 million euro to me plus 2% above the bank rate. What this means, if the bank rate is 3%, then in total will be 5%. So how much the owner, the seller, is getting out from this property? So here's the buyer. How much is getting? Is getting 1 plus 5%. How much is 5% from 1 million? Is about 50,000 per year, right? So the seller is getting 1 million plus 50,000 euro per annum. Why this is happening? Why would the seller be interested in selling to you a property and in the meantime to finance this property with his money? And how the seller shall secure his rights in the property in case you go bankrupt or you don't pay the money you owe to the seller? We'll discuss about this later during this video.